When I was the NSA, and then later when I became a congressman, we were considering the possibility of financial engineering to accelerate the development of our AFP. In fact, the finance secretary at that time already thought of it. He was designing a financial package. When I was a congressman, we sat down with the Secretary, Budget Secretary Andaya, so that instead of buying equipment on an installment basis or staggered basis, the strategy then was to buy a lot of equipment and then pay on an installment basis through financial engineering. And to me, that's doable. That's doable. So let's say you allocate $10 billion. So instead of $10 billion being apportioned annually over so many years, you buy it immediately and then you apportion the repayment on an installment basis. Just like when families buy a car. Instead of saving, let's say, 1.5 million pesos for a car, and then the only time you'll buy is when you already have the 1.5, you borrow and then repay the loan. And we can do the augmentation of our defense capability that way.
Pwede po bang mag-leapfrog ang Pilipinas sa makabagong teknolohiya? Wala tayong Gen 3, wala Gen 4. Doon na sa generation 2, 5th generation fighter.
Maraming sabi nila, mahirap daw lumundag ng ganyan. No? That was the principal justification for the FA-50. Sabi nila, kailangan muna for training. But then I said, instead of spending 18 billion pesos for the 12 FA-50, pwede naman siguro na we bought something less expensive and then allocate part of the 18 billion for training. You can do the training in the States and use their training equipment there, training planes there. Allocate a few billion pesos for training there. So, instead of, dito kasi sino magte-train dito? Nagkaroon na tayo ng gap, no? Na yung jet age ng Air Force nawala for so many years after the retirement of the F-5s.
So, yung paano ka magte-train? Kung 5th generation ng fighter plane, bago ng doctrine sa giyera, susunod nun. Matututunan natin. Babalikan tayo yung libro ng sa Liborwa.
Hindi nga. Kaya nga, doon nga sa abroad. Maraming training facilities doon. I'm sure the US Air Force or the US Navy would be very happy to provide us a training. Pabayaran na ba natin yun?
So, sir, meron isang, I was searching the YouTube that there's one new technology invented by the Israel. Do you familiar about the drone drones? That you need the training for the army for use that kind of technical machine.
Drone.
Yeah.
Yung nung NSA ako, meron ino-offer yung Israel noon na UAV. I was an exponent of that. I wasn't pinpointing any source in particular, pero nag-o-offer from the US, may nag-o-offer from Israel, unmanned aerial vehicle, not just for military purposes, but also for civilian purposes like monitoring our agricultural projects. Kasi with drone, mahocover agad. O kaya using that to scan the area affected by a typhoon. May kita agad kung ano yung damage. Or even like what happened in the case of the Dos Palmas incident, pwedeng yung drone maghahanap nung hahabol doon sa speedboat. Pwede.
Sir, the President has given his nod to the holding of the ROTC, requiring the ROTC again for college students or senior high students. Are you in favor of this?
Oh, very much. I'm in favor of that. I think that's a very good move. Now we have to redesign the ROTC program to make it very exciting to youth, kasi kailangan may excitement yan eh. Pag masyadong puro marcha, they look at that as a top chore during the weekend. But if it's something that will give them the skills that are applicable for our citizens to defend the country, I think that they'll get excited. Let's say guerrilla warfare, survival, escape and evasion in the jungles, pwede yun, marksmanship. I think they'll find that very exciting. And even the use of, let's say, cyber warfare, pwede rin. Because we have such a big manpower, some of them can be used for cyber warfare, which is getting to become very important.
But sir, in America, there's invented na robot army na invented na ngayon ng Amerika. I think kasi dami na rin ng sundalo na kung ikukumpara mo ng sundalo ng sa China.
Wala pa mo ganun kadami. Wala pa ganun kadami.
Hindi, wala pa po.
So on another issue, from bending way over backwards in accommodating the leftist talking piece with the CPP-NPA, and then moving on to an all-out war suddenly with the CPP-NPA, is there really more to be gained with this shift in policy?
Well, siguro ganun talaga ang positioning eh. That to me is indicative of President Duterte's strategy. So he would give space, democratic space. He would allow peace talks. Pero if they don't behave, then he would swing the pendulum to the other extreme side, which to me is a very good strategy. But then that by itself is also subject to negotiation. I'm sure that this announcement of an all-out war is still subject to negotiation, but that puts the other side on notice that they should not tinker with the peace process. They should be serious and not use the peace process in order to beef up their forces, in order to use it to recruit. And they're being accused of doing that. I remember even way back, ganun parati pag may peace talk, they use that para mag-recruit. They do a lot of networking in the remote villages in order to increase the number of barangays that either affected or infested or even controlled by the NPA.
So dealing with the MNLF and the MILF, it's very specific that we're talking about specific territories. But with the CPP-NPA, what kind of a resolution are we looking at? What is the final output that we are looking at in having the peace talks with them?
Well, hindi ako expert sa peace talks, no? But if I judge it on the basis of whatever little experience I had, you're correct. The areas of the NPA, they're mobile. Sometimes they're there in Southern Tagalog, all of a sudden, yung a 200 element size force will go to Leyte, will go to Samar, they're very mobile. Unlike in the case of the MILF, pero silang lugar, may kampo pa sila. They're almost conventional, even their organization is very similar to the AFP organization. So dito, I think they have a conflict on the our government negotiators will not accept that they have territory because there's only one territory, and that is Philippine territory, and that is controlled by the Philippines. It's good that the government is not yielding that. So in the end, ang pinakahuling is the laying down of their arms. Pinakahuli. But then if we look at the history of insurgency from the time of Aguinaldo, pag-surrender ng arms, parating maraming nakatago for future conflict.
No, yung politically, yung red is max, yung potential nila politically is max out na. Kung titignan yung boto ng kaliwa na party list, bumababa na eh.
Yeah.
Dati, 300,000 na boto nila sa Bicol region. But the last 2 elections, nawain mo sila ng akong Bicol. Hindi sila nakakuha ng more than 20,000 votes sa Bicol region. Nandun na lang sila nag-iwan sa Eastern Mindanao.
Ako Bicol Party lakas.
Yun ang malakas.
Oo.
Sa Eastern Mindanao, Compostela, Davao region, doon lang naman sila malakas sa may mga binahan. Do you think parang masyado ng atensyon na inuukot, parang baby?
Ang nangyari sa party list kasi, dumami yung mga party list, no? Tapos dumami yung mga local party list, localized like let's say sa party list sa La Union. May Ortega na nanalo dyan, so mahirap pumasok sila dyan. Ortega control, sa Iloilo may ganon, sa Mindanao meron ganon. Na nakita nila yung potential ng party list sa Bicol, doon din. So the leftist party lists are having a hard time competing with those local party lists. So they naturally lost their votes. That shows you that they're weak. No? Na pati yung mga dating botante nila nakukuha ng mga regional powers, yung mga provincial powers. So that is they cannot win in a national election. They cannot produce a senator. Dahil to become a senator, you need maybe 25-30%. They're good only up to maybe maximum 10%, even less.
Yung doctrine ng militar, winning the hearts and mind of the people, hindi ba dapat palitan? Kasi they have nothing to win pala eh. Kasi they haven't lost anything.
That's an old cliche kasi. Winning the hearts and mind, panahon pa ng Vietnam, even during the time of the Philippine-American War, ganun yung strategy ng mga Amerikano rin, winning the hearts and minds. So, yun ang ginagamit. But right now, they've lost their ideological strength. Because sa pa merong kapareho nila, wala na. North Korea na, pero hindi na, iba na yun. That's more of totalitarian.
Sir, the reason
And
that...
ano pa, family tied.
Family business.
The only communist country where the positions are inherited, it didn't happen in China, it didn't happen in Russia, the USSR.
So the recent attacks of the NPAs on government forces, even during the ongoing peace talks, seems to reveal that the NPA leadership have no direct control anymore on their forces on the ground. Do you think there's still sense in talking with the higher officials of the CPP-NPA when they have no control anymore on the forces?
But they have to make that very clear, because that is exactly what sometimes the MILF is doing. Sasabihin nila mga renegade, mga breakaway group, so they continue attacking the military. But then they said, oh, wala kaming, hindi yan amin, mga breakaway group yan. And dito naman, what we're hearing is that they're not in control, or even reversing, even accusing the military of liquidating military elements also, which to me is the height of absurdity.
So in dealing with do you think that the CPP-NPA is still a big force to contend with, or is it like Ariel said, we're giving it too much attention?
Lumiit na, mga 3,500. The latest, when I was the NSA, mga 12,500 sila eh. So ang laki ng binaban nila. They're very strong in the parliament. No? Kahit na kukunti sila, they're able to intervene very effectively, like blocking AFP modernization projects, or night vision goggles, mga radio equipment, ang gusto na parati na nakabantay. They're also in the cabinet now. So, pero, which is good, no? Because to me, that's also a very good strategy to welcome them to the government. I enjoyed interacting with them when I was in Congress. I enjoyed debating with them. I enjoyed teasing them about why are you rallying in the U.S. Embassy about some visits, but you're not rallying